Hello everyone, I'm Eiji Aonuma, the producer of the Legend of Zelda series. We mentioned in the June 2019 Nintendo Direct presentation that we had started development on the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Many people around the world are still playing Breath of the Wild, so I'd like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Everyone, thank you so much. Regarding the sequel, in order to make the vast world you enjoyed exploring in the original game even more impressive, the team is working hard on its development, so you'll have to wait a bit longer before we can provide more updates. In the meantime, we've prepared a different way for you to experience the world of Hyrule, and we have a video to introduce it. Please take a look.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
I think you are now ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Protect everyone!
What you just saw is the game that Koei Tecmo Games is developing, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. This game takes place 100 years before the events of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In that game, the Great Calamity that occurred 100 years prior was mentioned, but the actual event itself wasn't shown in full. In this game, you'll be able to experience the events of the Great Calamity. So now, I would like to invite Koei Tecmo Games producer Mr. Hayashi to join me here.
Hello everyone, I'm Yosuke Hayashi from Koei Tecmo Games and the producer of this game. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity began when Mr. Aonuma approached us saying, "I think it would be interesting to create a Warriors game telling the story of the Great Calamity. What do you think?" The battles between the Kingdom of Hyrule and Calamity Ganon would complement Warrior-style gameplay against large armies. The previous Hyrule Warriors games were filled with Zelda conventions. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild broke these conventions entirely, and perhaps it's the same for everyone here, but for someone like me, who's been playing Zelda games for a long time, this was an extraordinary experience. It's a new, special title for me. Unlike the previous Hyrule Warriors games, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity was developed by working closely with the Zelda team in every step of the process, including gameplay direction, graphics, world, and all dialogue. And while we maintained the distinct gameplay style of the Warriors series, with exciting 1 versus 1,000 battles and a wide variety of playable characters, this became the only game that will let you experience the world 100 years prior to the events of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild firsthand.
Thank you, Mr. Hayashi. During the development of the previous Hyrule Warriors games, I was impressed with how the Warriors development team, led by Mr. Hayashi, had a deep understanding of the Legend of Zelda series. This time around, they made it possible to create this new experience by combining the well-detailed world of Breath of the Wild with Warriors gameplay. Therefore, I believe this game will offer the experience of the Great Calamity battles that weren't fully shown in the original game. I hope that both those who played the previous Hyrule Warriors games and those who played The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild can experience this game. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity will launch on November 20th. Thank you for your continued support for The Legend of Zelda and this game.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。